All right, Maximus Analysis here for April 12th, 2016, and what a day we had, full of fireworks and announcements and other fun things. So we came back early into the session and on the ES, on the intraday session, and they were looking to retest the 2032.50 area. And there was some news on crude that made it launch, and it pretty much brought everything up. So right now, overnight, because we're in such sideways movement, again, if they break above these levels right here, again, we'll probably say around 2058 or close above it with some type of sustained volume. We could look at 2093, but they just need to get out of this space right here. We want them to hold 2048 overnight. We want to see if they're going to hold and continue for more upside potential. Again, they're still making higher lows at this time. Again, we would prefer them not to get back into these previous highs. And we can see that it's been a pretty choppy couple of days, to say the least. This started getting tidy. This started to, up, down, and then you're not knowing where it's going to go. It breaks the low and then rockets back up based on news. Nothing you could have seen regarding that, and even aggressive time frames, day trading time frames, it was a little bit difficult to gauge that. So don't be too hard on yourself if you didn't miss the move up, because you didn't see it. And again, if you're angry about missing a trade, it means that you're a perfectionist, and if you're a perfectionist, maybe trading isn't for you, because you won't be perfect all the time, and that's just a part of the game. So let's look at the NQ. And the NQ, again, we want to see them hold this 44.22 area. You can see basically these lows they tap. We want to see them get back above that. And make sure you're looking at the weekly time frame for the ES and for the NQ, because they're still in some type of weak position. Let's actually go back to the ES and look at the weekly time frame. And just, matter of fact, let me pull up the continuous contract. And you can see that, again, they could continue for some more upside potential breaking above these highs. But we still, right now, have to have the flexibility to still say, all right, we want to make sure we hold this weekly low, which is 2026. I have a level at 2025.50. So basically just that 2026 area we need to hold. And that would be the first time that we break below a previous low for the week, on a weekly time frame. So we'll continue to watch that. Now, if we go back over to the NQ, we can see that, again, they broke the previous low, but they regained it very quickly. So we want to see how much juice they have left to the upside, being that they're at this previous resistance, which was previously support, broken, now resistance. They could just tight flag this and go back to the upside, but we want to see what the week finishes up at. So again, the the levels that you want to watch on the daily time frame is, or any time frame, is the 44.22.75 area. And if they break back above that, okay, we want to see them get, we want to see them back above the 45.25 level, and that would get them back above around these highs and see if they have any volume breaking that 45.25 level, because it's just been kind of bipolar both ways. YM will glimpse, and again, we can see that they did pretty much the same thing. They want to hold this 17.250 area. Crude was the guy that brought all the ships was the tide for all the ships, and now the target pretty much puts it right at this 200-day moving average, or around the 44 area, $45 area, unless we break and close before like a 41 or 40 area. Okay, that's the only area that I will look at. And again, tomorrow's EIA report, so they could just be continuation, but we'll continue to watch and see what they do in regards to these futures. Now let's look at some equity names on the daily, and we see we have Apple. Again, we want them, to get above, stay above the, we want them to get above 110.88. Okay, 110.88 break with some volume, maybe they could see 113.53, but we do not want to see them back below these lows, which are around 108.27. Weekly chart for Apple is something that gives me a little bit of concern because of how much volume, and they haven't even touched this previous, barely touched it. So we want to see if they break above, and even if they break above, I'll still be looking to say, okay, we're right back in some previous overhead resistance in regard to price. So we just want to see how it moves into that for the weekly time frame. So make sure you're still looking at those. Amazon, again, it's continued up, and we're holding this 588.56 area. Upside would be, if they can break above this, would be 106 to 113. If we can get some more volume, let's make sure we got the weekly time frame going. So again, we have these small body candles. We really haven't had a break of a low, but again, it's going into Wednesday, so we'll see what this volume, how it picks up, and if it does pick up. All right. Excuse me. Let's look at Facebook. And Facebook, we can see, again, we want to see what the volume is popping back up because of Facebook's weekly, and we've talked about how many it took 8 weeks to get above here. Again, it could hold above these levels, but I want to see what's going to happen here. Again, it could be something for a quick move to the upside, but I just want to see, because the weekly just is showing me it shouldn't take, a lot of things shouldn't happen, but again, it's just trying to work on looking at what the price action is kind of saying, that they didn't clear these highs in 8 weeks, okay, while the market was rallying really high. So we'll continue to watch that one and see where they close in regards to Facebook. But on the daily, you can see we've gotten right back into this previous high, so, and actually into this previous pivot as well, and we just want to see if they're going to clear it and what kind of volume they're going to go back to the upside. Priceline had a very big day today, holding this 200-day moving average, and again, I said not to short it just because of the weekly, quite honestly. It just, and again, that's how you kind of correlate the two time frames, just that the weekly didn't really look on Priceline like a short, and I want the weekly to kind of look more like a short than the daily if I'm going to take a short on the daily. So we'll continue to see if they get it back above, anything over 13.14. They're going to come back and try to test these previous highs, but let's see. They have some good volume today, so let's see if they're going to follow through. Again, you can see this 200-day moving average was tapped and tapped again, so low risk entry, and see where that goes. Last but not least, we have Tesla, and Tesla could be setting up for more upside potential, but the weekly looks really tired. So again, we're looking at last week's low of 240, and the week before that was 215. Was it 215? No, 225. Excuse me. 215, I think, was the previous low. That's 3 weeks back. So want to see what happens here, because we're coming right back to this, pretty much this sell signal right here from back a couple months ago, actually, more than a couple months ago, like 4 months ago. But I want to see if they're going to continue higher. Again, I saw the big spike on volume of last week. We talked about potentially it's setting up for a shooting star, and it hasn't yet, but they haven't broken a low yet, and they're only $7 away. So really want to see how this one performs, or what it looks like when it does get a break of a low, a previous day's low, so previous week's low, excuse me. So we'll continue that, and that was the only name, quite honestly, on my high momentum names that I have that actually was red today. So it didn't really show relative strength, but that doesn't mean that it can't go higher, at least on a daily time frame. But we want to see what continues to happen here. So kind of keeping both time frames in check and seeing what's going on. So again, it was a crazy day today, but trade them well. Again, don't try to put on too much size trying to guess what direction they're going to go. If you don't know, then there's plenty of traders that didn't take a trade today, and that's fine. So see how things go. So take care.